So it's Maundy Thursday, the night that our Lord instituted the supper, where Christians eat and drink his true body and blood for the forgiveness of sins, life, and salvation. Big deal. This is one of the places where that cross, which our Lord would bear for you on Friday, actually gets brought forward through time and space for you so that you would actually get to be a part of it because, well, you weren't there when they crucified your Lord, no matter what the song says. We were a couple thousand years too late to the show, so our Lord brings us this gift to us under bread and wine for us to eat and drink. It matters. It matters so much so that our Lord commands that we eat and drink this. And it's a night when most churches have, if not canceled services, elected to do them digitally, where you can't eat and drink because you can't take communion over the internet. It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. You're allowed to be upset about this? Like, honestly, we have tried so hard to make everything seem normal that when our Lord takes from us the body and blood that we are supposed to eat and drink for our salvation, well, you're allowed to be upset about it. It's not normal. It's not good. And there's two ways to deal with this. You can deal with it under the law, or you can deal with it under the gospel. Under the law, you have to find a way to meet the requirement that you have somehow communed. And so we try to get real crafty about it. And so people have tried to come up with all sorts of things because they view communion as a burden. That's what the law is. It's a burden. It's something that you have to do. And inside of this, you find no peace at all. And so the very best thing in the world that you can do is throw your hands up in the air and say, well, at least I can't deal with it tonight, so I'm not going to worry about it. And the people who have wanted to be farther from communion got their wish. But if you want to deal with the Lord's Supper under the gospel as it is given, then you can recognize that here our Lord gives you this gift because he actually wants to see you saved, because he actually wants to help you in the midst of everything that you're up against. And so even while our Lord would remove this gift from us for a while, it would not be forever. Even while our Lord would remove this gift for us, it becomes the same way that, well, we raise our children. As they start to long for the supper, we don't tell them no. We just tell them not yet. It's not safe yet, but soon. And this is your answer too. It's not no, you can't take communion. It is not yet, but soon. We want you to do it safely. Recognize, though, that even while you are apart from this gift, as much as you're allowed to say, this is not okay, this is frustrating, this is maddening, you can find all of the other ways that our Lord is working to sustain you. For even now you are baptized, you are washed. Even now you hear his word and cling to his promises. And that just means then that as our Lord has given us a fast from the Lord's Supper, it would sharpen our hunger for it so that when we do finally get to return to the table, we can do so with joy. We can do so with all humility and reverence, but all celebration in recognizing that we are eating and drinking salvation itself. Today is a weird day because our Lord institutes a meal you can't have yet, but it's coming back because our Lord has given it to you. It's not no, it's just not yet. So in the middle of this, instead of dealing with communion under the law and finding it to be a burden and trying to find a shortcut to get around it so you can say you took communion, see it under the gospel. Because the God who actually gives it to you doesn't give it as a curse, but as a blessing, as a chance to give you salvation and hope and something to cling to. But he's given you other gifts too. Hang on to all of them. Don't set one against the other. Just recognize that the God who works good for you is the same God who bore the cross for you. This is not the God who makes you earn salvation by your works. This is the God who gives it to you by his sacrifice upon the cross. And he gives it through means. So look to them. And if you can't have one of them tonight, look in longing, but recognize that fasts end. And it'll be time soon. You're allowed to not be okay with tonight, but you're allowed to look forward to tomorrow.